Da, 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 da. Welcome to a Soda Pop production review of The Devil's a Part-Timer. Today, we're going to ask the age-old question, does the ending have the power to ruin everything before it? Let's find out. We're getting to know one of my favorite shows, developed by Wattfox and directed by Naoto Hosoda, better known for his work in Future Diaries. The story follows Mal the Demon Lord and his companions as they flee from human prosecutors from another world into our own. While here, he's introduced to multiple problems, ranging from no ID, no money, to no clue, eventually landing himself in a residency in a rather voluptuous landlady's apartment, and a job at McDonald's as a part-timer.
Incredible! You're like a for-real grown-up!
Thanks, but hardly. I'm just a part-timer.
On his way back from work, he meets the gorgeously designed Emilia Justina, the hero of Enta Isla, an encounter that would set the pace and tone for the rest of the show. Did I mention the character designer Atsushi Akira was behind this show? You'll know him from the character design and artworks from the Fate Stay Night Zero series. He's absolutely amazing. But back on subject, it's through these two characters' interaction, Mao and Emilia, that the show builds up great levels of tension of comedic relief, bouncing from dramatic moments of coming to terms with people who are slaughtering your loved ones, and then flipping it on its head to turn it into a romantic twist scene. It's in moments like these that The Demon is a Part-Timer makes a name for itself, combining a modern-day fantasy slice-of-life routine that will often make you laugh out loud. Though the show sticks to typical comedy bits, love triangles, misinterpreted moments, or romantically clueless MC, it does so with unique flair and unique identity that you won't find yourself comparing it to scenes from another show. Something that often happens to me, especially with romantic comedies like these. But Devil's a Part-Timer isn't really a romantic comedy more so than just a comedy. Yes, there's elements of romance and building of relationships, but it doesn't go anywhere, and with no news of Season 2, calling this show a romance is a bit of a stretch. But it's still something romance fans will very much enjoy. It'll carry to all the typical tropes fans will find familiar, but it also looks for a new ground for a demon and hero to build upon. Ultimately, this leads nowhere as we get to the discussion about the ending, and ask once again, does it ruin the experience of everything before it? Now with a show like Devil, you really don't watch it for the intense drama, gripping moments, or even the character growth. You watch it because it's a fun show whose self-awareness turned what would have been an average show into something much more entertaining. However, the show is not without its plot holes. It does honestly suffer from a few jabs into its own character creations as well. And it honestly doesn't do enough job of fleshing out the discovery of our world. And the people from Enta Island are almost completely unfazed by our thousands of years technology ahead of them. Mao himself seemed quite impressed at first, but after a quick mention about magical cars and food preparation, his excitement about our world fades quickly and turns into something closer to a bitter video game vet. But those holes are more minor details used to give a show more of a realistic edge. Part-Timer obviously puts more focus on being fun and entertaining, so you'll want to judge it on the same spectrum you would a show like Fooly Cooly or Gurren Lagann. You can try to judge it on the same standards as Steins Gate, another fun anime that has a much more serious tone, but then you'll be overly complicating a plot that's meant to be taken at face value. So where does this lead the ending? The ending of Part-Timer is open-ended, meaning there is no ending. It ends the same way that any other episode would, giving us no closure, nothing to give a feeling of a complete story. It leaves you hungering for more, an obvious bait to go read an original source, which in this case is the light novel. You can see why that would lead to a lot of bitter reviews over the story of The Devil Part-Timer. But should that destroy the journey to the end? It's my opinion it shouldn't, especially with a fun comedy like this one that never intended to give you a Future Diaries experience. Did the fact that the show ended poorly for you change the fact that Mao took a ball of energy to the face that the hero avoided and made you laugh out loud? No, you enjoyed it. You didn't laugh any less because later on the show didn't give you what you want. So in instances of bad endings like this one, I would say one of two things need to happen before you judge it. First, ask yourself if you enjoyed the show to begin with before the ending. If it was lackluster, the ending is going to amplify this distaste and it will lead to just a viewing displeasure. But if you enjoyed it, and I implore you to take another look at the show and ask yourself, would I look forward to a Season 2? And if it's a yes, the show did its job well, and what more could we have for? Wrapping this up, let's start some review scores though. The Devil's a Part-Timer finishes up in my area of expertise, which is none, at an 8 out of 10. It does a good job finding its mature audience and introducing him to cliches in a very funny way, while still managing to remain an interesting and unique story. However, much of that story was either glazed over or done poorly. With a lack of explanations coupled with an entire world we know nothing about yet affects everything, it gives a very incomplete feeling in the end. While the journey was still well worth it, it could have still been a much better show.